time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielson and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen.
$12:03 on The Oil Stream. Dusty and Tommy Gazzola with you here live on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on TuneIn or at edmontonsportstalk.com and you want to text us, feel free to chime in 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You can also hit us up in the nasty chat as well. We've got lots to discuss when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers. Once again, Weird G is in and says, wow, that's a lot of flannel. It is a lot of flannel today. Right? It's nice.
Sorry. And Iwanek and I are basically wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, Maddie's got the bigger kind of check marks, but you got a tight one there. Like tight.
It has the thinner ones.
A tight plaid, yeah.
Yeah. But Maddie's got the look is good because I wanted to do the open. I'm seeing a lot of the open flannel with the shirt underneath. Maddie's got that. It's more
Maddie's
casual.
Dressed like me in grade 11 and 12, and I absolutely love it.
This is the look
I didn't think
now.
we were still... What?
This is the look, man.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I've been waiting years for this look to come back.
It's back.
Does it have to be a black T-shirt underneath?
I think the black T-shirt.
What?
White could work. Black works really
What
good.
if it's a T-shirt that has, like, funny stuff on it?
No.
Oh.
That's where you're going back to junior high.
I'm going to change
elementary.
that game then. I'm going to do that.
That works, but you need a black, just a regular black shirt over top like this. Black button.
Yeah, man.
All black.
All black. Then you can wear whatever shirt underneath.
He's
black
right.
T-shirt under a black thing?
No.
Yes.
Shirt you can wear underneath a black top.
But this isn't black enough.
No, it has to be all black. Solid black.
Yeah.
You have a solid...
It's
like
a
Johnny
thing,
Cash.
You have a solid black button-up shirt.
Yeah.
And I do this sometimes.
Okay.
I'll do it tomorrow for you.
Okay, cool, thanks.
And you wear just a shirt underneath.
Any shirt.
Any shirt.
But does it have to be a flannel?
It's not flannel.
Oh, well, I got lots of black shirts.
That's plaid.
Yeah, but
Flannel is
no, it's just black. I got lots of plain black shirts.
And you can wear a shirt underneath it, unbuttoned.
Flannel is a material. Plaid is a design, texture.
Well, I know that, Tommy.
But people confuse it. I've done it.
What?
Yeah.
You confuse plaid and flannel?
Yeah. I'm not the only one.
You might be the only one.
Nope.
No, somebody would look at your shirt and go, "Oh, I love the way it looks. That's flannel." Or they say the look is plaid.
Did you not just
I bet
start
it
with
feels good.
flannel?
This is flannel.
That's like legitimately flannel material.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, this isn't. This is.
Oh, let me see.
I don't think it is. You think it is?
I
think it's some kind of like
it's not
hybrid.
This. It's not this. That's like a hybrid cotton flannel.
It is very comfortable, and I do like it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that the button-up shirt. Like I lived in like university in the open button-up shirt and T-shirts.
Yeah.
I thought that was long gone. I've been waiting years for this.
Fashion is
How come nobody
cyclical,
gave me a
but
heads up here? Like
you wear no design on the T-shirt now. Like Maddie's got.
I feel like maybe I could be the guy who brings design back.
Like even the V-neck is.
Oh, so you were going to do this too?
Yeah,
but
and then I
V-neck
saw
is
it and I was like, okay, I'll button it up.
So you buy V-neck T-shirts, eh?
I used to, and I still have. Like, again, I was talking about Uniqlo last week for some reason on the air. They have great, like, if you need just
What's
like
this,
the
a T-shirt store?
It's an everything store. It's at West Edmonton Mall. It's Japanese.
I'm going to West Edmonton Mall this afternoon.
Go check out Uniqlo. Like if you need,
is that huge Japanese store? Oh,
yes,
I
it's
didn't even know.
phenomenal. And like if you need the essentials, let's say, and you need just basic black T-shirts, or you need a pair of just khakis, something like that. Like the prices are great, the quality's excellent, and like you can't go wrong. And they have good like heat gear, thermal gear, underwear, socks, all that stuff. It's
oh, wow.
And it used to be a treat when we were on the reason why I know about this, and I know we'll get to the team obviously, but when we'd go on the road, not everybody was shopping at Gucci, Burberry,
ooh.
Prada,
Burberry.
Some of us had to go to the other places, and Uniqlo was one of those ones where it's like, well, we don't have one back home. Let's go check it out. It has great stuff. And actually, some of the players would go there too. But like I remember Andre Sekera one day, he shows up and we're like, Reggie, where'd you go? Did you go to Ross? He goes, yeah, man. They have the best undershirts. Calvin Klein. Good deal. We're like, you make $5.5 million American a year. He's like, I don't care. He called himself a gypsy. He was such a good guy. He's like, I'm a Slovakian gypsy. And we're like, oh, Reggie. But then his shoes would be like $1,500. He'd be like, yeah.
Fashion is cyclical, just like Gagne with the Oilers. Right? Always circles back around.
And when he comes back, you still love him.
The Oil Stream with Ralph Lauren and Louis Vuitton.
Oh, it's not Louis Vuitton?
Who would I be? Would I be Ralph Lauren, or would you be Louis Vuitton?
You'd be Versace.
Oh, Versace.
Yeah.
I don't think
Gucci and Versace.
I don't think I fit the bill to be a fashion expert.
Well, someone was asking about my jeans I was wearing the other day on the hangout.
Jeans.
Levis.
Levis?
Yeah.
Levi's. You're funny. Oh, you got all the jokes
Oh,
today,
I'm an
Tommy.
idiot.
You got all the jokes.
I know.
All right. You can hit us up, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or, of course, in the nasty chat. And the Edmonton Oilers, they have actually provided us, after just an excellent run, they have provided us with some interesting things to discuss as of late. No doubt about that. And we're going to get into that conversation. Tommy, let's just start the post game. What was the reaction? I watched a little bit of it. Actually, I watched quite a bit of it.
Thank you.
Oh, you don't have to say thanks, buddy.
I appreciate that.
It's my job to monitor all these things and
Yes.
make everybody's doing great work. But what was the reaction like after that loss?
There was still some anger. It was nowhere near as spicy as the Thursday loss to Tampa. A few that were like really upset, probably somewhat inebriated, were angry, and they would, they were on the far end of the spectrum where they're like, oh, the season's over. They're not going to do it. That was just a blip on the radar, the 8-game winning streak. But I think for the most part, people understood. Like there were, and we talked about it with Cass, there were some issues where defensively the Oilers were spotty and they had some breakdowns and didn't get the save. I know that's the theme that we talked about the last couple of games. And the goalie thing came up again, and people were saying, oh, well, see, Pickard's not the guy. It's like, well, when did you ever think he was the guy?
Yeah, but that wasn't on the goalie anyway.
It wasn't. He got the one goal I didn't like from Pickard, even though it wasn't really his fault, because there was a couple of rebounds there, was the Barkov goal where they just kind of chipped it over his pad. But
yeah,
where there was a giveaway by Draisaitl where he had the puck on his stick.
What did he do after that?
He gave it away. He actually twice on that shift before the goal, he gave it away in his own zone. That kind of thing had not been happening for a while. The puck on Draisaitl's stick on Saturday night, it was a grenade, especially in the first half of the game. It got a little bit better, obviously. He's capable of certainly much, much better. But I think that was just one example of how that night overall went. And then when the Oilers got some great chances, Bobrovsky did make
Bobrovsky was
saves.
good.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky was good. But even on that goal, the one that you're talking about, like if that's the only one that you didn't necessarily love, I mean, I can't even blame that one on
Pickard.
They would have had like 3 cracks at it before anybody got
They
back
did.
to them. Both guys are just Florida Panthers standing right on top of the net. Like,
yeah, and it was weird too because I was talking with DNB, Daniel Nugent-Bowman from The Athletic, and I was like, hey, what happened there? Because I'm like, DNB, did you not see Draisaitl like cough up the puck really bad twice on that shift? He's like, well, yeah, but did you see Evan Bouchard up at the left wing position? Like, what was he doing up there? I'm like, I didn't see that, but like that is odd too. Did he try to provide an outlet for Draisaitl and then nobody tracked back, and Barkov's got free reign to chip one past Pickard. So yeah, it wasn't a good game overall. They did have their chances, but yeah, they defensively they were spotty, I thought, on Saturday.
All right, let's just get to this news. The Ottawa Senators have fired head coach DJ Smith. Jacques Martin to serve as interim head coach, and former team captain Daniel Alfredson appointed to assistant coach. I know I saw somebody already in the nasty chat saying, man, I thought maybe Jay Woodcroft would pop up there. Now, I wonder if that's still a possibility because Jacques Martin, I mean, he's an interim tag. Are you actually thinking the Senators are rolling into next season with Jacques Martin as their head coach? No chance.
No, and Daniel Alfredson, although
Alfie's not going to be their head coach, though.
No, and I think he just wants to be a part of the organization. Like, he might be the guy that like works his way up the front office ladder. And it was kind of neat when they were in Sweden. He was on the ice with them, and then I think he even was an assistant coach or behind the bench in those games in Sweden, something to that effect. But do not think Jacques Martin. Martin's like 65 years old.
Yeah, he's not
isn't he?
the head coach of the Sens this year. I mean, you can come back and correct me if I'm wrong when the season starts, but that wouldn't make any sense.
I don't think it's gonna. I think they'll start fresh and they'll get their own guy in there.
Okay, so quickly, just because people you've already see the text messages coming in about Jay Woodcroft, and could he be there next year? Although this is a great text that says, Sens firing coach and adding a franchise legend to the bench. Stales did learn a lot in his time in Edmonton, which is pretty funny. I mean, that's pretty funny.
That is good, but yeah.
But how much of a connection is there between Steve Stales and Jay Woodcroft?
I don't know. I don't.
Right? Tell me where the real connection is.
I've never seen those two really spend time together. I'm sure they've had discussions.
Hired him before.
Yeah, like Staios was when he was with Edmonton. I think he was still spending a lot of his time with duties in Ontario, and then he would come in and he'd be in the press box. He'd be here for like a longer homestand. Like say they were home for 5 games, he'd be here for the homestand, and then he'd be back in Ontario. Then if there was like GM meetings and board of governors stuff, scouting meetings, then he would go and meet up with the hockey ops side. So his interactions with the coaching staff and Jay Woodcroft specifically, I don't think that they would be robust. Like I think he probably had a decent relationship with them, and they were probably in some meetings together and bounce ideas off of each other. I don't get the sense they're best friends or anything like that, but I certainly do think Jay Woodcroft would be an option for the Ottawa Senators going into next year. I think they'd probably want to give him a full training camp in a summer, get acclimated. This is hypothetical if they were to go down that road. And to say there's no rapport or relationship between Staios and Woodcroft, I don't think is
there would be
right.
some level, but
there would, but
it's not
I don't know if it's a deep one. I don't assume it's a deep one from what I've experienced, seen, and heard.
Well, look what happened here. Woody got replaced by a guy who was the boss's guy in Chris Knobloch,
yes.
right? Like everybody right away going back and saying, Jackson has always said great things about Chris Knobloch. I would assume there's probably one of those guys out there for Staios or the ownership group or whatever in Ottawa, and I would think that's not necessarily Jay Woodcroft.
Yeah, maybe a former teammate of Staios who's in the coaching ranks now and kind of getting close to maybe Eric just blew us a kiss. Getting close to a head coaching job.
Who are you talking about?
I don't know. Like
Staios
played with 1 million people over 20 years in the NHL. Or I know he didn't play 20 years, but he had a prolonged pro career. So there's probably guys that he actually has like long-term relationships with and was teammates of that could be available next offseason. So, but I would think that if you're smart, you're looking at Jay Woodcroft and his body of work in a year and 8 months in Edmonton or whatever it was, and you're like, it's a damn good winning percentage. You went to a conference final in the second round. You had one of the best teams in the league. I would definitely bring him in for an interview, but I don't know too where Jay Woodcroft's mindset's at. Like maybe he just wants to take the rest of the season. He's getting paid.
Yeah,
he's getting paid.
He's not worried about a paycheck. Right?
Yeah, that's for sure. And maybe he wants to just say, you know what, let's revisit this, and maybe he just has conversations. It's a slow burn, I think, for Woodcroft. I don't know if he necessarily needs to or wants to jump into anything right away. But if you're Ottawa, you want the best guy, and you're like, well, Woodcroft was pretty damn good in Edmonton, and his team really pooched that for him, and they're still they don't like talking about it, which is interesting.
One Putt Virtual Golf Winter League sign-up is now open. 8 weeks of flexible 18-hole league games that you can play based on your schedule. Starts on December 27th, ends on February 18th. You can also play your league games with friends who are not even in the league as well. So if you just want to go out and play with your buddies, they can play their game. You can play your own league game while you're there. You can sign up for $350, and that will include your 8 hours of golf. Or you can just pay the league fees, which are $50, and then pay for your hours at their regular rates. For more info, you can visit them at www.oneputt.ca/league or follow them on Instagram at OnePuttYEG. Where was I yesterday morning? Clairview. I was at Clairview yesterday. Marshall had a game at Clairview. And One Putt is on the boards at Clairview. I was like out on the ice after the game,
Yeah.
getting all the kids pushed off, and I went to step on. I think it was at Clairview. Must have been.
They are also on Londonderry.
Okay, yeah. So I stepped up onto the, stepped back onto the. I was just like, wait a second. Look at this. One putt virtual golf right on the boards there at Clairview. So I thought that was nice to see. At some point, it's going to snow heavily out, and then you'll be hitting up those links indoor. Not that you're golfing outside anywhere right now.
Yeah, no.
But this weather is insane.
It is
This makes no
amazing.
sense.
It's El Nino.
You didn't
as
even dress
Clausen
very
told-
warm today coming in.
I didn't.
No.
No. I'm very comfortable. This is nice again. But I was running errands yesterday. Yesterday was one of those days of catch up, and was doing some laundry, and I looked in my closet in my guest room, and my clubs were just sitting there so lonely.
Oh, they're looking at you like this little face going,
Please.
Oh, Tommy,
Please,
Tommy,
Tom.
please take me to one putt golfing.
Please take me to one putt so you can hit me. And I was like, I need to hit these clubs. And I looked at my putter, and I just got a new putter this last year, and I was like, damn, I love this putter. And so I think I need to. That means it's a sign I need to get to one putt.
You know, Lieutenant Eric blew us a kiss on his way out.
He did.
Which means, I think for the first time ever, doing the oil stream, we are alone in the Edmonton Sports Talk offices right now.
Oh yeah, Matthew won.
Because Maddie had to run to Walmart. LTE had to go because he got Monday Night Football tonight.
Yes.
YouTube Trev was with us in the morning, so he bailed around like 11.
Yeah.
It's just us.
Hey man.
We can do whatever we want.
Look
here
at
right
us.
now. Yeah. Pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
You want to play Nintendo later, or like
no,
what?
I have to
go grocery shopping.
I have to be at the mall by like 1:15.
Oh yeah.
I haven't taken my kids shopping for their mom yet,
Ah.
so we're doing that today.
Ah.
And I'll probably hit the food court up.
Hey, I saw the new Popeyes location too, by the way.
You just saw it now.
On 170th, yeah.
Well, that ties
That's
in
a
nice in.
huge
It's
location.
well, I heard that it's doubling up.
Oh,
They're
that's
splitting it with somebody else.
yes, that's right. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that was an old Red Robin.
It was Red. What do you mean you didn't know that was Red Robin's?
I did not know.
Did you never go to Red Robin's?
I had one right across from my old place too,
So you must have gone.
like once.
My God,
Get
you
a
didn't go
shake.
back? They got the big steak fries. The whiskey barbecue burger was unreal.
My memories
unbelievable.
of Red Robin are good memories. Like when I went there, oh, this is good.
But you only went once.
Maybe twice.
How many times did you go to Red Robin's, Tommy?
Once or twice.
God.
I'd rather go to Popeyes.
I used to go to Red Robin's all the time. But yeah, when I'm heading to the mall today, food court down by the movie theater, Popeye's got that huge real estate in that food court.
Yeah,
They
it
got
does.
the big corner area. Not roped off, but they own it. And I might get myself some wings. They got 5 flavors of wings now available at Popeyes. You can order them now on DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, or Uber Eats, and you'd have them by the end of the oil stream. How great is that? 6 wings. We're talking big ones. These are big ones. 6 wings for $9.99. Signature hot honey garlic, honey barbecue, garlic parm, and the ghost pepper.
Are you okay?
Only at Popeyes. Just thinking about the signature hot has me coughing.
Signature hot is like tolerable, and it has good zip. So if you're like me and you sweat easily or get like flustered by heat, I love spicy food, but I feel it. Like I guess what
You're a sweaty boy.
But the signature hot are really good. Like, and they're very tolerable. You get some of that buttermilk ranch. Ooh wee. Or you get is it the blackened ranch as well? That's another great option.
That's another option. That's a real nice ranch. I like the different variations of ranch really get me fired up.
Yeah.
Blackened ranch, great idea.
Yes. Eden texts in 780-218-9999 says, no one else in the building pee in the women's bathroom.
Well, I'll throw this out there today. I did pee in the women's washroom today.
How dare you?
Well, after the show, LTE had the other one occupied for quite some time.
Okay.
And I was just like, man, I got to take a leak. And I was like, I don't want to wait any longer. And I was just like, screw it. Now they both washrooms look exactly the same.
Theirs is much
They're
cleaner.
basically, gender neutral, really.
Yeah, that's true.
So, although it is cleaner over there.
It is very much so.
It's a good
yeah.
point. It's a really clean washroom.
Yeah.
But anyway, I snuck in there today and took a leak.
That's okay. It's a bathroom.
It's like I don't break rules. That's one of the first rules I've broken in a long time.
Yeah.
If it is really, I guess it's not technically written down anywhere.
There's a paper women's sign on it with the logo, like the.
That's just
icon.
paper on the wall?
Pretty sure it's just paper.
I'd be surprised if it's just a paper sign.
I think it's just paper.
I think it's more to it.
Okay.
Anyway, we started talking about Popeyes and went to Red Robin's, and now I'm taking a piss in the women's washroom. So I'm not too sure where we got off track.
I don't know.
Doc says, I've said it before, but we need an AM Nasty road trip to Red Robin's in Kelowna.
They still
Now,
have.
I would like to go to Kelowna just to go to Kelowna and maybe hit the links a bit. But if there's a bonus Red Robin's there, then I'll gladly do that.
What about
as
a
well.
Fuddruckers trip if we go to Saskatchewan?
Never been to Fuddruckers.
It's
my friend.
amazing in a weird way.
Is it really amazing?
It's actually pretty good. You want to talk about a variety of dipping sauces? Fuddruckers is like
Really?
the gold mine. Mm-hmm.
The doc is in and says, or who's else? Can you imagine a nasty chat bus trip? That's in from Penner's
Oh,
Pancakes.
it'd be nasty.
I would just say stay tuned in January about a possible trip.
Ooh.
So we'll see where that one
like that.
ends up. All right. The liquid beaver has slid into the inbox today. You're not going to get me today, my friend. I might not even read your. I'll read your text.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the handle. Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's disheartening that after all these years, we still don't have a sixth legit top six forward. Don't you dare say Connor Brown.
He was supposed to be, but
But no
he's
buts.
clearly not, obviously.
God, I thought
He
you
won
were-
point
I thought you were
22
going to try to
games
make
with
a
21.
case
Oh,
for
no.
Connor Brown.
You
'cause
can't.
Your love affair with him on Friday.
I've moved on from a love affair with him to hoping that he becomes the next iteration of Michael Pekka. And even that might be a stretch.
I think
realize.
so.
But
I think that's a stretch.
If you want to look at it like, well, I want to stay positive, and where are there examples of guys who were veterans that came into this organization and were supposed to deliver more and really fizzled during the regular season, but popped late in the year, I think in the stretch a little bit, and then into the playoffs. And Pekka was a guy, maybe he can do that, but a sixth legit defenseman. Listen, they've lost good players. Like Nick Bjugstad, and I don't think they're going to go back and get him again. He was a legit forward. I don't necessarily think he's a top six guy, but he could slide in there. He can moonlight.
When you say they don't go back and get him again just because it's silly? Or because, they would want him for sure.
Of course they would.
Yeah.
But Arizona also wanted him and committed multiple years at double the money he was, or even 2.5 times what he was getting before to stay. Hell, they might be in the mix come the wild card spot later on in the year. They've kind of hung around a little bit, right? Like,
Well, they're lurking around.
yeah.
They're lurking around right now.
But yes, Brown was supposed to be that guy. It has not worked out, obviously. When are they going to get a sixth legit forward or top six legit forward? Well, didn't we say for the last few years that they only had like 3 or 4 legit top six guys? So now we're only one guy away.
yeah, they've
in the top six.
they've
So
added Hyman and they added Kane.
is this not progress?
Not fast enough.
I guess so. You're not going to please everybody.
Not fast enough.
Yeah. I don't know when they're going to. Hopefully, one of these guys starts playing like a top six.
I think in the end, we've always just underestimated how far they were away. You know, it seemed like every year for like the last 4 years, it's been like, oh, they're a goalie, they're one D-man, and they're a forward away. And then they bring in
That's like
Kane,
this year.
and they bring in Ekholm, and they bring in Campbell, and we're still sitting here going, they're probably a D-man, a forward, and a goalie away. It's...
Well, I know they want to add a forward, a goalie, well, now a goalie, and a D-man.
Now, different levels,
Yeah.
right, than how it would have been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just stay with the forwards for a second here, because I did tweet out we were going to dive into
The lines from
the
yesterday.
line combinations here. I mean, the main discussion here is that Chris Knobloch has decided to break up McDavid, Nuge, and Hyman, which during the stretch, the power play and the top line were generating almost all of and there was a lot of offense, but a lot of it was coming from the top line and the power play. Leon Draisaitl 5-on-5, even in the winning streak, not really pissing a drop. Kane was good at the beginning of it, has obviously fallen off a little bit lately. I'm really
nicked up.
fascinated by the. Now he practiced today,
which is good.
Yeah,
They-
Kane. We're talking about. Are they making a mistake by splitting up the best line in the National Hockey League right now? Because that's what they're doing. Hyman,
Just
Nuge,
trying
and
to create
McDavid have been
balance.
the best line in the National Hockey League right now.
They've been excellent. But, and then you've basically you've got a black hole on one line with McLeod and Brown. Poor Janmark, who's been playing very responsible hockey lately, is stuck with those two. McLeod hasn't been great, although it was nice to see him get some offense going early on in the homestand. Again, if you look at it from a positive point of view, Brown, again, who has not really done anything at all offensively, did look like he was coming around, hit the post a couple of times, and had a goal disallowed. I have a hard time even validating that as positive.
You know why? Because none of it counts.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like I'm really reaching here, and I'm reluctantly doing so. So that third line right now of Janmark, McLeod, Brown is like, that's a cooler of a line, right? Poor Janmark. And then, I don't know, like Hamlin, Gagne, no Derek Ryan clearly, so he's nicked up after colliding with Kevin Stenlund. That's not good. Unless he's just day-to-day and he makes the trip and everything's all right.
Which might be the case.
And then the lines could be back to normal.
The fourth line would be back to normal.
Yeah.
Ernie would just be out, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Kane for being nicked up. I thought he was okay the other game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you okay. That's not very good.
I don't know. Maybe Chris Knobloch feels that the lineup, the forwards got a little too comfortable. You get those stretches.
Not that McDavid line though.
No, that McDavid
Like
line.
that.
They looked like
that's
they were
what
on
I mean.
a power
Like,
play every time they were on the ice.
Yeah, that line was carrying you offensively. Today we had Rashog on for the Monday Morning Got Your Back mandate, and he played a clip of Knobloch talking about how, to go on the road to balance the lines out a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what you do. Kane with McDavid and Hyman, powerhouse line. I mean, should
be
do well. I don't know if Nuge all of a sudden gets Draisaitl going, because this is the issue here. They're breaking up the best line in the league because Leon Draisaitl can't get anything going 5-on-5 right now.
Fair enough. And I understand the balance thing, and that's what was one of my initial thoughts when I saw this too. Leon Draisaitl is still producing this year. Granted, most of it is on the power play. That's fine. At least he's getting those power play goals. But 5-on-5, you want him to get going.
He has to
5-on-5.
do something 5-on-5
Yes.
though, right?
And maybe there's a stability in Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in the way he's playing on the wing right now, and I understand that. And Draisaitl, too, being the type of caliber player he is, any given night, he could come alive. Any given night. Even though at times this year, it's like he's been in a bit of a rut, or his body language hasn't been great. And I know we read way too much into body language and stuff like that. But on any given night, I would not be surprised if he just comes alive, because he gets so mad and he's like, I'm done playing like crap, or I'm done feeling like I'm sulking. And then he just turns it around. Like that's the caliber of player that he is, where even though we wouldn't look at this season and be like, yeah, he's really on it this year, he can wake up. And when he does, look out, because he's a beast.
But should you have to sacrifice the top line to wake him up? Like that?
No, in theory, no.
No. You're
theory,
taking
no.
from the best line in the league to, like, I don't know why they didn't just go. So they're skipping over. So Kane was away from him. Now they're moving Kane from they're not putting him back with Draisaitl. They're moving up to McDavid's line. Mm-hmm. I still think Kane, Draisaitl, and Matthias Janmark could be a line that would definitely be more impactful than any line with Connor Brown on it right now.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm surprised it's not Janmark up there instead of Fogle.
Which is weird, because the one game that Hyman missed, it was Janmark who was elevated to the top line.
Right.
And now they mix it up again, and he's stuck in an ultimate black hole.
I know.
With McLeod, who literally doesn't do anything, and Connor Brown, who couldn't produce to save his life right now. So
unless Janmark is providing balance to those two guys, which is That's a tough burden to put on a red-hot Matthias Janmark. And I don't mean that offensively, just in general, because he's so responsible that he was my top bottom six guy last year until Nick Bukestad showed up.
You'll never let that go, hey?
I say it in jest. I say it. I know people, Janmark, you idiot, Gazzola. Well, I agree with the idiot part, but Janmark, look out for Janmark, and look what he's doing now.
Induced Comics says, on the road, you need a balanced top six. Teams will match the top line. Yeah, how much did you really change here?
You flip.
So you flip Kane and Nuge.
And then you get Fogle.
I think I'd rather Kane with Draisaitl to
Yeah.
get that line going when you know. Go ahead. I'll say this. You want to go match the McDavid line? Have at her.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Go ahead. Go match. Go play the matchup game against Connor McDavid, Hyman, and Nuge with the way they're playing right now. You're not matching them up. You're not shutting them down. Let them go cook. Right? Isn't that what we say?
Yeah.
Let them cook. And then you put Kane back with Draisaitl. You know what? I would rather see Kane and Draisaitl play out there by themselves than have Connor Brown on the wing right now. Okay, so put those two guys back together by themselves. Throw Gagne up there. Throw Janmark up there. But leave the top line alone.
We could see the top line reunited if things aren't working. I don't know. But Knobloch is more consistent with his lines. He doesn't pull the trigger as quickly as Jay Woodcroft, Dave Tippett did.
Can I give you a theory
Yes.
on Leon Draisaitl's 505 struggles recently?
Tell me.
He just wants to go back with Connor McDavid.
Oh, my God.
I said it. There, I said it.
He is
Look,
not
it
that
worked.
much.
It worked before with
What?
Woodcroft. If Draisaitl wasn't going right now the way he was, if this was Jay Woodcroft, he'd be back up with Connor McDavid right now. I love the fact that Knobloch hasn't done it yet.
Well, he did it last game a bit. He would mix in.
I mean, they mix him in sometimes.
And they had Kane up there for some
after
shifts.
penalties and stuff.
Yeah. But what happened to the Draisaitl that was challenged by Todd McLellan to be the best player in the world?
Good question.
Yeah. I think he's still there. He's still there. Hasn't gone his way.
Yeah, but like he also has screwed up a few times too.
Oh, he
Like
has.
in that last game. So it's
Yes, he
I don't
has.
know, man. I think it's kind of like put me back with Connor. See how it goes.
I hate if that is the case. I don't believe that is the case. I really don't. And I hate that.
We'll see how it plays out.
Don't he I was going to say he's not a whiner, but
How's his body language come across sometimes?
not great. Not great. He gets grumpy. He is grumpy.
Is he grumpy when he plays with Connor McDavid?
Yes. He
Is he,
still
though?
is. Yes.
It doesn't come across that way that often.
He's still grumpy.
I don't know. I just look. It's
Just
just
his
a
demeanor.
theory. I'm just throwing it out there. But it could also be he's been stuck with a bunch of guys who absolutely have zero finish. So there's that going for them as well. MB says Dusty is right. K. Gill immediately says Dusty is not right.
Oh,
I don't care.
get after it, nasty chat.
That's my hot take. That's my hot take of the day. And if you're looking for hot, get the signature hot wings at Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. That new location that you said you just saw
On 170.
should be open later this month. I know Furby was telling me right between Christmas and New Year's. So if your New Year's resolution was to have another Popeyes open in town, I like your chances this year. That should end up being pretty good for everybody involved. 780-218-9999. You can text us, or of course you can hop in the old nasty chat as well.
Are you active in the nasty chat right now?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not typing.
Oh.
No, that's just
Oh, they're
K-Gill
tagging us.
tagging
Oh, okay.
us.
Gotcha.
I don't think it changes. See, DL gets it. Dusty's always right. Oh, and it says Gazzy's another story.
Do you, Del, or DEL, do you just want to listen to us for an hour agree with each other?
Yeah, I mean, is that what you want?
Is
Or
that
do you
good
want me
entertainment?
to call this idiot out a few times.
Oh, you know what? Let's just agree with one another for the next
Yeah.
20 minutes. See how entertaining that is.
Yeah, Tommy, I agree. We should do that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yes.
Pat in the county says, totally agree, Dusty. Love that he's not going to the nuclear option. It's not nuclear if you use it every other game. So he's agreeing with me saying, I like the fact that Knobloch's just not like, a loss. Right. McDavid and Draisaitl together again. So.
But McDavid and Draisaitl is a number one centerman on every team in the NHL that doesn't have Connor McDavid on it.
He's just -4 with 0 points in his last 2 games.
That is true.
Yeah. It's not necessary.
He can't be perfect every day.
All right. So here's an interesting question.
Yes.
Who has been a bigger disappointment this year? Think about this for a second.
All right.
Connor Brown or Ryan McLeod?
Man, those are big disappointments too. I think it would have been easier for Ryan. Shoot. They're both hurt.
Yeah, McLeod was coming in a little bit banged up.
It's Connor Brown because of the price tag and the hype, and this was like a 2-year wait. I remember in the offseason, not this past summer, but the one before, where there was a lot of talk about Connor Brown coming in. There was talk during the season last year when he was on the shelf with the injury as a member of the Washington Capitals of him eventually becoming an Oiler. So this was something that was basically telegraphed for a couple of years. And he gets here, and it's been a dud. And even with the bummed knee that was repaired surgically, it ain't working. So he is, and the price tag, again, yes, I understand. So it's Connor Brown. Where Ryan McLeod is disappointing is it seemed like the progression from just establishing yourself in the NHL, going through the playoffs a couple of times, having a decent season last year, getting his first real NHL contract outside of an ELC. This is where you're waiting for him to take the next step, and no training camp is a killer for a lot of young players, not just Ryan McLeod. But the good nights have been few and far between for Ryan McLeod compared to the nights where he's essentially non-existent, and that's disappointing. It's almost like a regression, right? Like he's doing things that he did his first look up in the NHL. He transports the puck, and then the end point generally isn't the net or the blue paint. He's passing up shooting opportunities.
He has 6 shots in his last 6 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
He's fast, but there's been times where he's missing assignments. So they're equally disappointing. But one guy,
off PP2 too, eh?
Yeah, and one guy I'm glad you bring up.
I don't think we really talked about it much, but yeah, he's completely off that second power play unit.
But you bring they've got Gagne on there, and that's fine.
Well, it makes sense because Gagne makes way better decisions than Ryan McLeod.
And he gets results, and he goes to the hard areas. Like Ryan McLeod should watch a little bit of Sam Gagne and be like, "Oh, he's 4 inches shorter than me, and look what he does. I can do that." Like Sam's not a bulldozer, but Sam is willing to engage. Sam recognizes the areas of the ice where you generate offense, and it's not the prettiest, and it's not the easiest, but he does it, and that's why he's still in the league 15 years later with having gone through double hip surgery. There's a lesson there for a young guy like McLeod who has wheels and speed to burn and nice hands. I'd be looking at Sam being like, I can score a greasy goal or two. But you got to be willing to sacrifice. And then Brown.
So yeah, I was going to say
really quickly.
Brown or McLeod, right?
Brown's the bigger discipline.
You think so?
No question. But
hasn't played in a year.
I know,
in a new spot.
But to give him some clout here, because I just don't want to pile on him and pile on him and pile on him, even though it's the easy thing to do. To his credit, he's a contributing part of a PK that's getting really good. Started out terribly, but he's a part of a PK that has come around. I
would also say it's not piling on when it's very much deserved.
Well, I know, but you don't want to just take a big heap and what on a guy. It's not, and we have to go into these locker rooms and talk to them.
Well, you do. I haven't been down there.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes they find out about it, and they don't like it.
Well, then play better.
Well, that's why.
Suck it up.
I'm giving some credit when there's recognizing all facets.
Yeah.
For them, I just said he's the bigger disappointment. And we went through it. And people, obviously, like, we can crack on it all we want. We're going to crack on it all season. Fans will crack on it when he doesn't do anything in a game or makes mistakes. That's the nature of the business. But we can point out when somebody does something good that they, in fact, perform to a level that is acceptable. And Brown on the PK has been doing that when he's out there, to his credit.
Zedmo says, Clowder can make plays at speed like Connor. I really think he's top 6 somewhere. You don't think that? He didn't even really have a huge offensive upside in junior.
No.
You know, that's why, I mean, I think he's as high as he's ever going to be in this organization for sure.
He could
obviously
settle in as a third-line center for 10 years.
But if he did third-line center things, the third-line center on a team can't be the softest dude in the lineup.
No.
It just can't, and he is, and it's never going to change. Ever. It's just not.
I know.
That's his game. Third-line center on a championship-caliber team cannot be as soft as Ryan McLeod plays. It just can't. Not to mention the lack of production. But, I mean, the production, 2 goals, 5 assists?
Yeah.
That sucks, too. But you can't be as easy to play against as a third-line center on a contender as Ryan McLeod is. You can't.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because he should see a glorious opportunity here for him.
It really is.
Settle in as the third-line center on a championship-caliber team behind Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. You're not going to find a better opportunity, so become the player that the team needs you to be, because there's not even competition from within. And maybe that's why it hasn't driven him to be like, dude, if I'm going to keep my job, I'm going to have to start, hitting people. I'm going to have to start, putting pucks on net. Go to the crease, bang something in.
That was a thing that came up. That topic you said with the shortened roster and the lack of cap space, where we're trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with the team when they were in that 2-9-1 stretch to start the year. And it's like, well, they literally don't have anyone threatening the guys in the lineup. That doesn't exist. So maybe there is a comfort level for a new or a young guy who just got his first real ticket in the NHL. And maybe there is a subconscious ease that has overtaken his mind. I don't know. I'm not into the psychology of it all, but that could be a part of it. There was a time where they were healthy scratching Klim Kostin and Warren Foegele last year. There's no threat from Adam Ernie at all when Derek Ryan's healthy. No threat. If you're Warren Foegele and you're Ryan McLeod and you're like, well, if I don't play well for 5 games, who's going to be in my spot? Adam Ernie? Not a chance in hell.
Kyler Yamamoto would have been better than Connor Brown, right? We know he was a cap casualty.
Yes.
But that's another downgraded spot,
he wasn't
right?
he wasn't supposed to be, but at this point, through almost 30 games for the Oilers, he would be. Now, that's not what they thought would happen, but that is the case today.
Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by our great partners over at CoolBet. Go to coolbet.com where we have a couple of parlays already posted for today. One of them in the National Hockey League, and that would be if you go to exclusives at coolbet.com, click on the Lock Shop Partner Parlay, you will find the Detroit Red Wings -1.5, the Dallas Stars to win in regulation against the lowly Kraken, and the Florida Panthers to win down in Calgary tonight. That's plus 665 on that one. There's an NFL one in there tonight as well if you want to hop on that. That's kind of a Seattle-based one. Probably throw an Eagles one up here a little bit later on today as well. But the Lock Shop Partner Parlay, the hockey one for tonight's action, 5 games in the National Hockey League tonight, plus 665 is where that one sits right now.
Carmen via the nasty chat says, why not call up Lavoie? I don't think, and Carmen also says in a top 6 context. I think the simple answer, Carmen, is they don't see Lavoie as a contributing top 6 NHLer right now.
Yeah, no. Not a top 6 contributing NHLer right now. from what we've seen, and I'm not watching Lavoie in the American Hockey League. Okay, I'll just be straight up honest with everybody. And I think a lot of people probably have a hot take, and they don't watch him in the American Hockey League anyway. But from what we saw in the brief stint in the National Hockey League, I don't think the feet and the hands are moving together at an NHL level just yet. Like you can see it. Oh, he can move okay here. Oh, and he's got decent hands here. But when it all has to kind of come together, and I'm not saying it won't. I mean, you really hope it does. But and there's some great elements to his game. I guess I have watched a few of his highlights. He's got a wicked shot. I mean, that's something that obviously a lot of people already know about him. But from what I've seen so far, it's a guy who just doesn't have a lot of NHL experience, and he's not sure how he needs to play the game just yet. So on a championship contender is what you want these guys to be. You're going to throw him into a top 6 role and just say, go sink or swim. And he starts skating up the ice, and an actual NHL player comes over and just goes, boop, thank you, out of here. It looks like it could be there eventually, but in the brief stint that you've seen so far, I think you can kind of clearly identify why he's not here on a regular basis.
Yeah, and when he did get called up, it was a brutal time for this team. I think he'll get called up again, and I think he'll have another look, and I feel like he'll probably be slightly better because he does have that understanding of, oh, this is what it is like in the NHL. And when he went back down to Bakersfield, this is the little stuff I need to work on. Maybe I do 10 minutes after practice on this, and this, because when I was playing NHL games, I felt like I was just a little bit behind on this, or my positioning wasn't particularly great, or I need to be quicker with the puck, so maybe his puck touches are quick, stuff like that. But at least he has that experience and the knowledge, and then if he works on it, and when he does get that call up again, he puts himself into a better spot to have success. And that's, you get that little bit of traction, and guys get opportunity and they take advantage, and that's kind of the typical progress. But to call him up and just to throw him into the top 6 right now, when overall things are well for this team, yes, they've lost 2 in a row, but they were just on an 8-game heater. I don't think that would be the right way to go about it.
Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by Boston Pizza. If you're looking for a place to watch the game tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night.
I'm blanking out on the days here, man.
This is the weird lead up to Christmas where
it's one and then off, then back-to-backs, and then Christmas.
Yeah, you've got all kinds of stuff on the go. You're off to Davos in a week or whatever it is, or even less. Are you done?
I leave on Saturday. What's today? Monday.
Yeah, so
I leave on Saturday.
It's that weird week leading up to Christmas where even driving on the roads today during what is usually rush hour in the morning, it was quiet.
A little bit quieter now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if some kids are still in school. Our kids, we took them out. They were going to be done by Wednesday anyway, and we're just like, man, let's just spend some more time with our kids. Yeah. So they're done school already.
Yeah, and I think there's probably people at work that are just like, man.
Definitely mail it in season.
It's a throw it in, throw in the towel.
Why don't you leave work and just go swing by Boston Pizza this afternoon? Get yourself some Thai chicken bites and a Belgian moon. Can't go wrong there. Ooh. Watch the Oilers tomorrow night at Boston Pizza. $5 off medium pizzas, $1 off tankers of Canadian or Coors Light, plus $5.50 shots of Fireball, Jaeger, Burt Reynolds, Purple Rain, and Honey Jack. And, of course, they've got the Square Footer, 3 new pizzas. Been out for a little while now, but if you've not yet tried them, we highly recommend. Yeah. A little bit different than what you're usually expecting from Boston Pizza, but that's a good thing. Like, these things are absolutely delicious.
Yeah. You know what? The Purple Rain shot would be good this time of year.
After Friday, man, I think I'm going to lay off the shots for a little while.
You were an animal with those.
Yeah, but I just couldn't get more of a buzz on.
We were
there for so long. We had a meeting at a place, and we were sitting there, and we ended up having like our EST Christmas gathering with the 5 of us. And we put in like a 10-hour shift. Yeah. But by the time 11:30 rolled around, you, Tommy, and I walked out of the mall. And we were all just like, oh,
yeah,
good day. Like for how much booze we drank on Friday. Yeah, all 3 of us should have been passed out on the floor. But instead, we were like walking out. I guess this was happening when you put in a 10-hour shift. Like
it was like, well, we did good tonight. Yeah, that was a good time.
It's like
Eric and Trev had a great time.
Well, YouTube Trev had a really good time.
He was dancing.
YouTube Trev told me today that he thinks the place we were at actually ended up paying for an Uber home for him because he didn't know how to get home. Oh. And he left his keys there. He had to go back the next day.
Yeah.
He says he goes back in the next day to get the keys, and the bartender's like, "Oh, you again." Yeah, and I guess, I don't know if it's ever been like, but the bar was like, "Yeah, we're going to get you an Uber home."
Wow.
Because his phone died. When we left, he was saying that he had this a girl coming to pick him up. And I said to him tonight, I said, "Hey, did she come pick you up after?" He goes, "Nope. I don't necessarily know how I got home."
Okay, because we had Hello Hockey the next morning, and Trev produces Hello Hockey. He was here physically.
With no car?
No vehicle. Was he here in a mental capacity? Maybe about 48%. And we made it an easy show for him, I think, for the most part.
Belzy was telling me last night that he was pretty rough shape.
He was in rough
morning.
shape. Yeah. He's like, I need to get my car. I think I got an Uber sent to me by that girl because she realized how messed up he was. That's what he was saying. But it sounds more and more logical that the establishment we went to helped him out because he was such a mess.
It's just funny how we're older, and so we just kind of held it together.
Yeah.
And poor Trev was no, we were encouraging him to go out on the dance.
We sent him
floor
out there a
things,
couple of times.
We watched. But yeah, it was good. But yeah, when he said today, he goes, "I walked in and the bartender was like, 'Oh no, you again.'" I was like, "Well, did you do anything stupid after we left?" Because he was pretty contained while we were there.
Yeah, I thought so.
So I don't think he stayed long.
Not
after
sober,
us, but yeah.
But he's such a happy-go-lucky guy that he must have had a few more because he said he stuck around for a bit too. So that's a tough one. And then he had to borrow my keys for the studio. So I got him back today, though.
There we go. So YouTube
all is
Trev,
well.
legend grows, back on track, and provided us with some unrepeatable classic moments.
Oh my goodness.
From the first ever EST Christmas gathering.
He's a good one.
Which was a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Pretty good time there. 780-218-9999 or in the Nasty Chat. We got about 5 minutes left. But yeah, if you're going to make plans to go watch the game, do it tomorrow night at Boston Pizza. Let's see here. No, this is a good one. Coach Mike says, "Is today's NHL player hesitant to throw a body check or be physical in general because it might lead to an injury that could potentially affect their next contract?" Tommy, do you think that's how players operate nowadays? I would hope not, but I mean,
so.
Depending on the personality, I don't think I'd completely write it off.
I think the game is less physical, certainly, than it was even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, absolutely, 15 years ago. I just don't think that it's in their mind that they need to finish checks anymore. And, finishing a check is a foreign concept. Let's go back 25 years. Todd Marchant, 5'10", $180 on a good day. He would finish his checks. Did it hurt the guy that he was hitting? No, but he would finish it. Mike Comrie would finish checks, if you want to go back 15 years.
But the game was significantly different.
It was, yeah, and it's less physical. There's a skill emphasis.
There's more skill, big time.
But to Coach Mike's question about, does a guy hesitate to throw a hit to avoid injury because of the next contract? I sure as hell hope not. And if there are guys like that in the NHL, those are not the right guys to have in the best league in the world. And that is a terrible example and terrible mindset to have. Coach Mike, there might be a few out there that do think like that, and those are guys that are lucky to be in the league, but I don't think they do for the most part in general. But it's an interesting question, and I'm sure it's popped up more recently, but I don't think that is the thought process. Hockey's still a physical sport. The goal of checking isn't to blow up a guy. It's to remove the other player from the other team from the puck so you get possession.
Sometimes it's cool to blow up a guy.
It's a great thing to blow up a guy, but that's not why it's there. It's to physically remove them from the puck so you get it.
I was calling 2 hockey games yesterday down at Silent Ice Center, just north of Nisku there. Very awesome facility.
Yep.
And Dean Millard Principe was there, Labardius was there,
Yeah.
and I was there. So the three of us got to work those 4 championship games yesterday in the JPHL Winter Championships. And the U17 championship wasn't overly physical, but there was some physical. But I'd say the first 7 or 8 minutes of the HC Edmonton Okanagan Hockey Club U18 final, Belzy's team, that was physical.
I like that.
That was, you just don't, like that. It was fun to see. Like that took me back to my days watching like the Kimberley Dynamiters play when I was like 10 and 11, 12 years old, where it's just it's a bloody free-for-all from a physical element of it. Now, we don't need to take the game back that far, but calling that game, I mean, there must have been 7 or 8 huge hits in like the first 7 minutes of this hockey game, and it ended up being a recipe for success. I chatted with Belsey after. We had a beer after down at the bar that they got, Summit, I think it's called. And he said, he goes, they just physically came out flying, and we didn't get back on track after that. Like you can still physically and cleanly, but hard, dictate the pace of a hockey game.
100%.
You just don't see it in the National Hockey League ever. There were more big hits in that U18 game in the first 7 minutes than I saw in the last 2 Oilers games. 3, 4, 5 Oilers games. Like we're talking like 3 times. I think I was like, they were like huge hits. And I just totally forgot that some people play hockey that way still. It was
that's
awesome.
A great tactic. If you go and physically impose your will on the opposition right out of the gate, they're looking over their shoulders. They're worried they're going to get hit. And it might not be a blow up, but your ass is going to be on the ice. And that works. And Belsey knows, and he recognizes that. So I kind of like that. It was fun to get like physical, and it gets chippy, and you worry about the puck second, and you try to lay a licking on the opposition. I don't know. I like that kind of thing. I miss that stuff.
All right, 3 quick replies to the Brown McLeod, who's a bigger disappointment, on Twitter, and then we'll wrap. Brown has an excuse. Coming off a major injury, and at 29, he isn't supposed to get any better. We've seen players like him struggle to regain form. McLeod is 24 and is supposed to be getting better. The biggest disappointment has to be McLeod. This one says McLeod because he plays on the perimeter and is absolutely terrified of getting hit. He's a public skater. At least Brown gets involved. No results for either. Both should be traded or sent down. And then Ron says Brown is the bigger disappointment. Lots of hype, but that's about it. Let's Go says Brown is a veteran player earning good money with an average of 30 to 40 points per season. 100% more disappointing for me. Justin says 100% McLeod. I had zero expectations of Brown coming off major surgery, missing a whole year. Not surprised by his lack of production. McLeod, though, is supposed to be taking a huge step forward, yet seems to have regressed. To my eye, he gets very little done with his ice time, and then Dan the man replies with a gif that just says, "Why not both?" So there you go. That's where we're at on Brown and McLeod.
Well done.
And that's going to do it for the Oil Stream today. We will be back on Wednesday with the Oil Stream. 2 guys and a goalie in our noon spot tomorrow right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. The Nielsen Show replay coming up on TuneIn at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and we'll be back with another Nielsen Show tomorrow as Lieutenant Eric's 12 Days of Christmas continue. Huge thanks to One Putt Virtual Golf, Boston Pizza, Cool Bed, and Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen for promoting and presenting the Oil Stream. Tommy, are you wearing flannel plaid tomorrow too, or just
Plaid?
You guys gonna text each other about your shirts tomorrow?
This was all by happenstance.
Oh, we're doing black shirts tomorrow. Nice.
What am I doing to show you?
Short sleeve or long sleeve?
Long sleeve rolled up.
Long sleeve rolled up. I don't know if I'm cool enough to pull that off.
I have to do this tomorrow?
No.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's doing
I
it.
told Matthew that as this week progresses, remember we said this is kind of a throwaway week leading up to Christmas?
Yeah.
My, casual level will be substantially higher. So I'm going to basically be wearing joggers.
Are you wearing
and
sweats?
No, I don't wear sweats out, but joggers and a hoodie for sure.
You don't even have a nice pair of sweats that you would wear out? Like, I have a really nice pair of sweats that I'll wear to the store sometimes.
I have nice sweats, but
So why
I'd
don't you
rather
wear them
wear
out?
joggers.
Wait a second. What's the difference between sweats and joggers?
Sweatpants or sweatpants? There's
What's joggers?
jogger? You got the tapered pant, and then they got the ankles a little bit.
Golfing now.
Yeah,
People are wearing joggers golfing.
and I like.
End
I'm
of
all
the
for it.
episode. End of the episode.
How dare you besmirch joggers when you're still wearing cargo khaki shorts in the summer with sandals that have Velcro?
First of all, I don't have any sandals with Velcro anymore.
Thank God.
They've all fallen apart. My wife won't buy me new ones, even though I like them.
Tammy's a smart woman. That's why.
How many things can you carry in your joggers?
You have, yeah.
You can't carry, not compared to cargo shorts, you guys. Come on.
Not more, but you
This is,
can
I'm getting double teamed here. 2-on-1. Jogger boys versus, just wear some big ass baggy sweats on the hangout this week.
Never.
You'll feel so comfortable, man.
Never. I would never do that to anybody.
All right, let's go. That's it. That's the end of the episode. Oil Stream should return, maybe, on Wednesday.